Martin and Jim Hartz.
Thank you. Hello. Welcome again to Over Easy. Got a question for you. How many actors can you think of who would win not one but 2 Oscars in one year, then tell the world, I'm not an actor, I'm just an average guy who was given a once-in-a-lifetime part? You know, modesty is not typical of Hollywood, but it is typical of our guest today, Harold Russell.
Yeah. Harold won his Academy Awards in 1948, the year he portrayed a veteran struggling to adjust to the loss of his hands in battle. And in just a moment, we'll be talking to Harold Russell about the remarkable life he's led and his return to the screen after 34 years.
We'll also continue our special series on the Stanford University Arthritis Self-Management Program with some good advice to all of us, whether or not we have arthritis. Be sure to have a pencil and a paper nearby for an important address that we'll be giving you.
Then keep it close by so you can take down Chef Narcy Davies' latest recipe for a delicious, inexpensive luncheon dish.
First, though, let's take a look at 2 scenes from 2 very different movies. The first is from The Best Years of Our Lives, filmed in 1948. It was Harold Russell's first starring role.
You want to see how the hooks work? You want to see the freak? All right, I'll show you. Take a good look.
I didn't do anything, Homer. It was only...
I'm sorry, Llewellyn. It isn't your fault. Just go on and play with your friends. I know, Wilma. I was wrong. I shouldn't have acted like that. It wasn't her that burned my hands off. I'll be all right. I just gotta work it out myself.
I could help you, Homer, if you'd let me.
I've gotta work it out myself.
Now, Harold Russell, 32 years later, in a movie titled Inside Moves.
Hey, you play cards?
I played a lot in the hospital.
Hey, can you use another hand over there? Another hand? Yeah, I can use 2, eh?
Every time I hear it, it's still funny.
Grab your beer. I'll introduce you to the guys.
Hey, Rory.
Okay, everybody. I'd like you to meet Rory. Rory? This is Stinky. That's Wings. And this is Blue Lewis.
What's wrong with him?
He walks funny, and his head sort of tilts to one side.
Which side?
The right side.
And put him over here. I don't want him looking at my cards.
Watch out for him. He cheats.
But anyway, I've got a better time.
A dime more.
You better take a look at your whole cards. I think you read them wrong.
No. I know what I got. Let's go.
Say, so what happened to you?
Oh, I've been in the hospital for a while.
So?
I jumped off a building and tried to commit suicide.
Got it all backwards. First you get crippled, then you try to commit suicide.
What's especially remarkable about those films is that they're the only 2 that Academy Award winner Harold Russell has ever made.
And what kept him too busy? What kept him too busy to be a star? That's what I can't understand. Let's find out. Will you please welcome Harold Russell?
Jim, thank
Harold,
you
good to
very
see you
much.
again.
It's so good to be here. It's just marvelous.
Well, what did keep you too busy to be a star? I never heard of this. This is fantastic. You could have been doing this all 34 years.
Probably had a bad agent. Good job. No, actually, there were a lot of things I did and a lot of things I enjoyed and a lot of trips to be made, a lot of miles to travel.
Yeah.
And I've worked mostly with handicapped groups and handicapped people throughout the country, employment, education, housing, and so forth. And that was exciting. And then when Dick Donner called me, and I was at Berkeley, called me one night and said, I've got a script here you might be interested in, and I said, I'd like it very much, and he sent me Inside Moves, and I thought it was a wonderful time, a great picture.
But I love this one at the end. Oh, it's wonderful. But 34 years in between, were you nervous to go back in the business?
I was at first, until we got on the set, and then I found that, gee, it just suddenly everything fell in place. We had a wonderful set, a great director, and a very happy group to work with, and got to be so you look forward to going to work. I guess it's something like this set here. It's
It
just
is.
wonderful.
I look forward to every day with being with this
Isn't
Jim.
it? It's so great.
Let me ask you another question. I've never heard, well, there's one other person, Janet Gaynor, won 3 Academy Awards, but it was for different pictures in the same year. I've never heard of anybody winning 2 Academy Awards for the same role. How did that happen?
Jim, it really was an accident, and I mean that. The Best Years of Our Lives was nominated for 11 Academy Awards and the Thalberg Award, and I was nominated as supporting actor. But obviously, everybody knew that anybody who made a picture for the first time, had never acted before, was unknown, couldn't possibly win. So the night before the Academy Awards, the board of directors had a meeting, and they thought that maybe it would be nice if I got some kind of a memento, so they voted a special award for bringing aid and help to the disabled veterans through the medium of motion pictures. And I received that award early in the program, and I was backstage taking pictures with Mr. Goldwyn and Mr. Weil and some of the other people who'd won awards, and the program went on, then all of a sudden they announced the Best Supporting Actor, and I didn't even hear it. And all of a sudden, somebody said, "You've won. You've won." And they pushed me out on the stage, and I stood before that fantastic, talented audience. And I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do.
About it, really.
It was awful. So I got my little Oscar and my hook and went backstage, and I had 2 of them.
Just fabulous. Well, was it difficult for you to decide what to do with your life, you know, after the first picture? I mean, how did you decide to go out and do all the things you've been doing?
Well, I worked for Mr. Goldwyn for about 2 years, and we went around to a lot of hospitals, a lot of rehabilitation centers, a lot of disabled veteran groups and so forth, and I really got involved and excited about the things that needed to be done in order to enhance the vision of handicapped people, of disabled veterans, prepare them for employment, offer employment opportunities. And I got involved in that. And then we opened Best Years of Our Lives in Washington, and Harry Truman, President Truman, and Mrs. Truman were the hosts, the sponsors. And the president said he was starting a new committee for employment of the handicapped, of the physically handicapped, and said, "I'd like to have you serve on it." Well, you don't obviously say no to a president. And I did on a voluntary basis, and I've been with the committee ever since. So I got involved and sold on the program at the very beginning, and enjoy it. I'm excited about it, and hopefully we've made some progress. I kind of think we have.
I think you have.
I hope so.
You're now a consultant in trying to help handicapped in all fields. What are the special barriers that handicapped people face in the job market now?
I think one of the things, and I think this is true of our elderly population, one of the things is a thing called attitudinal barriers. Many employers and many educators believe because a person is handicapped or because a person might be a little older that they can't do it, but they forget that there's a lifetime of experience in meeting obstacles, and there's opportunities, and a handicapped person placed in the right job can usually do that job as well, and sometimes even better than the so-called non-handicapped and normal individual. And so I think that, you know, as I learned in the hospital, it's not what you've lost that's important. It's what you have left and how you use it. And that's the real important thing. I think it's a matter of mind more than anything else. And I've seen some handicapped people accomplish some very wonderful things.
Harold, surely after that, you must have gone through a terrible state of depression. How did you overcome that?
Jim, once again, I was very lucky. I was at Walter Reed Hospital. And I was terribly depressed, not knowing, I'd never met anybody in my life who had both hands, who had lost both hands, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, how I was going to go back to work, how I was going to face my family, community, and so forth. And into the hospital one day came a guy named Charles McGarnagle. Charlie had lost both hands in World War I in France in 1918. came back to California, made a lot of money in real estate, went to the University here in Southern California, and then during World War II, he traveled the amputation centers. Now, he was not a counselor or a consultant or a doctor. He was just a guy who'd been through this thing. And all of a sudden, I found that here was somebody who knew really what it was all about. The doctors would say, you're going to be fine, you'll have no problem, and the nurses, and they were all wonderful. But the fact was that they'd never faced this, and Charlie had. And I found somebody I could relate to.
You could talk with him.
I could talk with him, and I knew that he knew the problems, and he understood them. And I think this was the greatest thing that ever happened, because when I needed help desperately, Charlie McGonigal was there, and I'll never forget it.
And that's what you're doing now.
Hopefully, if I can add just a little bit to somebody's life, as Charlie has added so much to mine, I'll be very happy.
For 34 years you've been doing it.
I hope so.
Tell me something, had they developed things in the last 34 years that are helpful to handicapped?
Yeah, the prosthetics or the hooks of today are much lighter, they're much stronger, they're much more maneuverable. They were in the so-called dark ages after World War I.
Yes.
But we're making even greater progress now. Our scientists and our doctors and engineers are making all kinds of devices that eventually will mean that our handicapped population will be relatively free from wheelchairs or prosthetics and so on. I think that in 10 or 15 years we'll see some real miracles.
Wow.
Harold, you wrote in your autobiography, The Best Years of My Life, about the trauma of leaving the hospital for the first time and having to go out and be on your own. What kind of advice do you give now to people who maybe face a similar situation, perhaps even later in life, say in their 50s or 60s?
That's right. Jim, you know, it was funny that we always think a hospital is not the best place to be, but when you're with friends and you're surrounded with people who have the same problems as you do, the real problem is leaving that safety place, the nest, and coming back home where you don't know anybody, or if you do know them, you don't know them in the intimacy that you do in the hospital. And it's a very difficult thing. I try to tell people who are in hospitals and so forth, first of all, that there are a lot of handicapped people in this nation. There are a lot of people around who are ready to help them. There are organizations, associations, there are individuals. And to try to connect up or to hook up with one of those groups in such a way that they can receive the advice of somebody's gone before, as I got Charlie McGonigal's advice. And I think that's one of the important things. I think this one-on-one rehabilitation, the person who's in a wheelchair, if he has somebody that's had a little more experience than he has or she has, visit them and be with them. It's terribly important to know that this is a guy or a gal who's gone through it and knows what it's all about and can be of such great help.
Well, you've done this for everyone.
What do you tell the family and friends of people who have?
I say that one of the things you have to understand is that they're human beings and they wanted to be treated like everybody else. I don't think they need any special consideration outside of some help that they will ask for themselves. I think the most important thing for families to realize is our handicapped people have got to be on their own, especially our younger people. And I've seen some families who sometimes, not meaning to, have retarded the progress of their handicapped son or daughter by trying to be over-solicitous, trying to be over-helpful and so on. And it's overprotective. It's terribly hard.
But it's very difficult not to be.
It's not to be, I know.
Was this, when you first went back to your family after leaving the hospital, was that the most difficult thing to?
I think it was.
I bet it was.
And we did that in Best Years of Our Lives, when the sailor came home and we kind of showed that, you know, the family was trying to protect him and he was uncomfortable and awkward and sat around.
You know, you have remarkable good humor. We've met each other many times, and he's always beaming and so on.
Are you Irish? You sure look it.
I love the Irish. It's so pretty.
Then in that movie, you had a sense of humor about your hands. When did that finally evolve from the Depression through the moving back into the mainstream and then developing?
I think it developed through association with Charlie McGonigal. One of the great things he taught me, Jim and Mary, was when I met a person, that the first thing you do is hold out the hook and look them in the eye and say, I'm very happy to meet you. I'm so glad to see you. And immediately it breaks down the barriers. And he taught me never take yourself serious, because you have no right to be serious about yourself. It's not that bad. And so that if you have a lot of humor, and I enjoy people. I love to be with people. I love to tell stories. I love to see humorous and be in humorous situations.
I'm glad you do, because I want to introduce you to a new man. Frequently here on Over Easy, we request our guests to go over and do a little cooking. with our famous chef, Narcy David. Would you do that?
Would you go cook with Narcy Day?
I'm the best no-handed cook in the world. I can't even boil an egg. I'd be delighted to.
Wonderful. You go right over.
Thank you.
Hi, Harold. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Listen, thank you, Jim, Mary. He says he's a no-handed cook and can't boil an egg, but let me tell you, I saw a few minutes ago, you got to watch out when he gets a knife. This man really uses it. This is really not much cooking going on today. We're just going to put together a simple cold salad plate using some leftover fish. This happens to be filet of sole, but almost any fish or even a can of tuna fish would do it. Let me review the ingredients we're going to use. There's about 5 or 6 ounces of cooked fish, a couple of very small boiled potatoes, 6 or 7 string beans that have been cooked, a cooked carrot, a small tomato. Now those are the ingredients for the salad, and then we're going to make a dressing with a tablespoon of a Dijon-style mustard, a small clove of garlic, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, a tablespoon of white wine vinegar, a little bit of salt and pepper, and 3/4 of a cup of salad oil. Now, we're not going to use all that dressing on this one salad. That's going to be enough for a whole cup of dressing. So I've got a plate here with some lettuce already on it, and we need to just assemble this and sort of make it look pretty. Look at that. He's already ready to go. That's great. Thank you. Now, if you could slice up the potatoes, I think, you know, this fish fillet looks kind of nice. I'm just going to leave this piece whole. You could flake it up or break it up or just leave it whole. It doesn't matter. However, that's good. Now, while you're slicing that, maybe I'll chop a little parsley here and get this ready for our garnish. Look at that. It's already on the plate. This is going even faster than we'd figured. Fantastic. Great. Okay. And, you know, there are many variations on a recipe like this. This is sort of a salad niçoise, and we could dress the potatoes with the dressing, and it'd be almost like a potato salad, or just put the potatoes there and we'll spoon the dressing over the entire thing. Great. Those string beans, I think, just cut them in half is really all we need to do to make it a little bit easier to pick them up with a fork. Okay, I will put those on the plate if you can get that tomato quartered.
I think we need to sharpen this knife here.
Yeah. You know, tomatoes are the toughest darn thing. That skin is only paper thin, but cutting through the skin is always just a really impossible thing. That's great. That's good, Harold. This tomato is a little bigger than I had counted on, so I think I'm only gonna put 2 of those on there. Otherwise, it's gonna look like too much food, and Mary will say something about that doesn't look like enough for one person or something. We'll be in trouble. Let's make this salad dressing. Maybe I could get you to whisk that, and I'll just put the ingredients in. You want about a tablespoon of Dijon-style mustard, and we're going to whisk that up. Now, you know, the one thing I didn't do is crush this clove of garlic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me give you
No,
a
that's
knife
all right.
Put this in there. I'll wait to get that.
We mash it and mince it up really finely. Okay. We want the juice of half a lemon. That's about a tablespoon. And if we can soften it like this a little bit, I think I can get you a tablespoon of lemon there.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm trying to catch the seeds, and there are no seeds there. All right.
That's a California.
California lemon. California seedless lemon. Now, that's a new one. A tablespoon of white wine vinegar. If you're measuring, it's 1/8 teaspoon of salt and the same of pepper. And then whisk in this salad oil. Go ahead and whisk it while I'm pouring it in.
Okay.
And then we're going to just spoon about a couple tablespoons of this over the salad. Now, if we could review the ingredients while you finish whisking that, then maybe we could invite Mary over to taste it, and we'll see what this looks like.
Okay.
Arrange neatly on a plate lined with lettuce, 5 to 6 ounces of cooked fish, a sliced boiled potato, 6 boiled string beans, a cooked carrot that's been sliced up, and a small tomato that's been quartered. Now we spoon on 2 or 3 tablespoons of a light French dressing, and if you'd like, you could make this one, which is 1 tablespoon of Dijon-style mustard, a clove of garlic, a tablespoon of lemon juice, a tablespoon of white wine vinegar, and 3/4 of a cup of salad oil. And then we're going to sprinkle the whole thing with chopped parsley. So this is what the salad looks like. And if you drizzle a little bit of dressing over, make sure you get it over all the vegetables, like that. And we'll bring it over here. And
that gorgeous?
Just a few sprinkle of parsley on top, and there we are.
Would you, may I have him
Please,
taste?
of course.
Oh, thank you.
You first? And me too?
Oh, that's good.
Isn't that nice? Nice way to use up.
I love it.
Use a leftover
Cold fish
piece.
salad.
Sure. A piece of cold meat, chicken, turkey,
me too.
anything. Just put together an assemblage of vegetables
He's
that
so
you
much
find.
better as your assistant as I am. He taught me how to cut one vegetable. It took me 25 minutes. He's waiting. But this is absolutely delicious.
Well,
oh, Narcy, thank you.
Delighted.
And Harold, thank you for being with us.
Very much. Thank you.
How lovely. Don't make it 34 years again.
Thank you. Harold, thank you. Thank you.
All this week, Gail Schreiber has been with us to demonstrate the Stanford Arthritis Self-Management Program. It's designed to help people with arthritis to live more independently and more comfortably. But the program is actually valuable to anybody interested in a healthier, more vigorous life. Gail, welcome back to Over Easy.
Thank you very much. Hi, Mary. Good to see you
Good
again.
to see you again. You like this? Good.
You're talking today about how to relax.
That's correct.
All of us, I think, have our ways of relaxing. Some of us take a walk, some of us watch TV, some people have a cup of tea, whatever. But you are talking about something called a relaxation technique.
That's
What is
correct.
that?
Those things that you mentioned are all very nice ways to relax, but what we need to do is to quiet the mind. All of us live under a lot of stress today, and we have to learn how to deal with it. And one way we can do this is a relaxation technique, which might be yoga or self-hypnosis or meditation or prayer. And you might use any one of these that works for you.
I like meditation.
You do?
I love it.
Would you like to tell us what it does for you, Mary?
Well, very few things have ever been able to make me relax. I have my adrenaline stays up at a high peak at all times. And when I was doing so many shows, I could never take a nap between the shows because I couldn't bring my adrenaline back for the second show. So in that period, I didn't learn anything because I just did it. But since I haven't been doing 3.5 years at a time a show, I finally decided that something had to teach me, so I took up the Meditium, and it really does work. It took me about, I would say 10 days to really feel it for the first time, but it does work.
Why would that be important in arthritis?
Well, for one thing, it helps to relax the muscles. And when you relax the muscles, you have less pain. And also, it reduces fatigue and anxiety. And the great thing is that it helps you sleep. If you're having trouble sleeping and you do these relaxation, it helps you sleep better. And a lot of people like to do this at bedtime.
Does it matter when you do it or for how long?
Well, for everyone. They need to do relaxation, and the most beneficial time is in the morning and late afternoon, and you should allow yourself 15 or 20 minutes of quiet time. Let's try one.
Sure, I was going to ask you.
Right. I would like to describe to the audience what we're going to do, and I would like everyone who's watching to do this with me today.
Okay.
Okay, I want you to put your feet flat on the floor, Jim and Mary. And I want you to get into a very comfortable position.
May I slump?
No, sit up.
Okay, sit up.
Right. Now, if you're feeling any tension, especially in the back of your neck, rub it out like you were kneading dough. All right, now I want you to close your eyes. And when you close your eyes, you're going to feel some quiet. Is that correct?
I hear music, too.
All right. Now, let's be quiet. And I want you to relax. I want you to think of your body as an empty sack. If there is any tension, I want you to just let it go. And you're just very relaxed. we're going to repeat the word one to ourselves over and over and just relax. Now, I want you to take yourself to a quiet, safe place and just absolutely relax. If you're feeling any tension, just let it go and continue to say the word one to yourself. Keep your eyes shut and just relax. Now I'm going to count to 3, and I want you to slowly open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Would you like to tell me how you're feeling, Jim?
Jim.
Fine.
He's relaxed. He's gone to sleep.
Now,
listen, it works.
If you're home doing this, you would take 15 to 20 minutes in a quiet place. If you take the telephone off the hook and if you have a pet, you put them in another room. Now, you may use another word beside the word one. We just used that today because that's just a good word to practice with. And I would like to say that we call our class a joint venture. And the reason is for that is because we can show you and tell you what to do, but it's up to you to plan your own program.
For other viewers who'd like more information, we do have an address we'd like to give you. Excuse me. It's the Arthritis Foundation, Post Office Box 18888, Department SMG, Lenox Station, Atlanta, Georgia 30324. The address again for more information on arthritis treatment, Arthritis Foundation, Post Office Box 18888, 4 8s on there, Department SMG, Lenox Station, Atlanta, Georgia 30324.
And we want you all to relax.
We shall. Gail, thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you soon. For Mary and me, goodbye from Over and Easy. Over and Easy.
Thank you.